Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to Animals by Pink Floyd, the album. I think it's an album. Yes, I'm so excited for this because I've heard that they represent different things, the animals represent different things. I've heard that this album's about capitalism, I think, or communism. I think it's capitalism. It's not going to be communism. Yes. So let's just go ahead and listen.
If you didn't care, what happened to me? And I didn't care. But you, we would zigzag away through the bottom of pain, occasionally glancing up through the rain, wondering which of the brothers to blame. And watching for pigs on the wing.
Interesting.
Have a real need. Gotta sleep on your toes. And when you're on the street, you got to be able to pick out the easy meat with your eyes closed. Then moving in silently downwind and out of sight. You got to strike when the moment is right without thinking. that I'm a little bit confused. Sometimes it seems to me as if I'm just being used. Gotta stay awake, gotta try and shake off this creeping malaise. If I don't stand my own ground, how can I find my way out of this maze? Deaf, dumb, and blind, you just keep on pretending that everyone's expendable and no one has a real friend. You know that I care. What happens to you? And I know that you care. For me too. So I don't feel alone on the way to the stone. Now that I've found somewhere safe to bury my bones, and any fool knows a dog needs a home. A shelter from pigs on the wing.
So there we go. That was Animals by Pink Floyd. I didn't love it as much as their other projects. I think it will take a bit more listenings to really get into it. It's a bit heavier than their other stuff, I would say. But it's very, very interesting. First, I'm going to be saying all of my stuff. This is my little to-do list of the videos I want to film. I have like a load of stuff I want to say about the album before I get into looking at the meanings behind the lyrics and stuff. I just need to check we've got enough percent. Okay, we're on 13%. That's not great. But yeah, so we start off with Pigs on the Wing, which is a very simple, nice guitar song. And it's meant to be a love song, I think. The first and the last Pigs on the Wing, the Pigs on the Wing 1 and Pigs on the Wing 2. And they kind of like make the album cyclical, which I love Pink Floyd do quite often, where they start off with a concept and then they finish with a concept. So like in Dark Side of the Moon, it starts off with this heartbeat that then carries on through the whole album. And I have realised since listening to it, again, you can hear the heartbeat throughout the whole of the album. But it starts with the heartbeat loud as like the only sound you can hear, and then it ends with the heartbeat as the sound that you hear. So with this, we start with Pigs on the Wing and then we end with Pigs on the Wing, which is nice. Ties it all together nicely. So yes, that's Pigs on the Wing. Not a lot to say about that because it's such a short song. They're both such short songs, the first one and the second one. And then we have Dogs, which is a very dense song, like it's 18 minutes long or something like that. It starts with this ethereal guitar, we then have like these interesting sci-fi noises, and then it becomes very lyric heavy, and then we have an epic guitar solo, which I really, really love. But it's got such interesting lyrics. Some of my favourite lyrics were ones like, "You've got to keep one eye looking over your shoulder." This whole project sounds stylistically different to their other projects. I've only listened to Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here, but it just sounds different. It's just got a different vibe to it, this project, to the other ones. I don't know. But yes, I kept thinking though the best way to listen to it is in a dark room with like your eyes closed. I love listening to Pink Floyd like that. Because then you can really absorb the sound, but because I have to film for YouTube, I have to I feel like I have to perform with my reactions, so I can't really always completely focus on the music and just think about that, because I'm thinking about what am I going to say about this music, what do I think about this music. So yes, I love the concept of being dragged down by stone. It's a very interesting concept. And then Pigs, 3 different ones. I love the beginning, this kind of eerie spookiness. It has this like gorgeous glissando. I don't know if you guys know what a glissando is, but it's like on the piano where you go where you like kind of drag your finger along the piano and then it plays all of the notes one after the other. But it sounds really, really gorgeous. After the first verse and instrumental, it builds really beautifully to have this really nice texture. So yes, that's Pigs, 3 different ones. And then Sheep, I kind of zoned out because it is a 40-minute album and I didn't really... it's just quite a lot to keep thinking and thinking and thinking, what do I think, and writing it all down. So my brain kind of just zoned out with this one. So all I have to say about Sheep is it's got a pretty synth in the beginning. But I really, really love all of the concepts. So let's move on to the concepts. I'm going to be reading off of Wikipedia. Very, very trustworthy Wikipedia. But yes. So it's kind of... it's got a concept of like Animal Farm by George Orwell, which is really, really interesting. It like is loosely based around the novel, or is it a novella? I don't know. It's either a novel or a novella. Animal Farm. So it compares human behaviour to various animals. Dogs concentrates on the aggressive, ruthlessly competitive world of business, describing a high-powered businessman. The first 2 verses detail his predatory nature, outwardly charming and respectable with his club tie and a firm handshake, a certain look in the eye and an easy smile. But behind this facade, he lies waiting to pick out the easy meat to strike when the moment is right and to stab those who trust him in the back. Subsequent verses portray the emptiness of his existence catching up to him as he grows older, retiring to the south rich but unloved, just another sad old man all alone and dying of cancer, and drowning under the weight of metaphorical stone. So this is where... Oh gosh, we're on 10%. This is where we start hearing the big themes of the album. So capitalism, it wasn't communism. I remember people telling me it was about capitalism. It wouldn't be about communism. Anyway, I feel like people are going to laugh at me in the comments for that. Yes, so it's talking about how people work really, really, really hard to earn loads of money, but they don't have anything to show for it, and you end up just retiring and you're old and you've got nothing to show for all this work that you do. So yeah, just a sad old man all alone, and drowning under the weight of this stone, which is really, really interesting. I love that concept. So yes. I don't know what else. And then we have Pigs, and this is from Quora. So someone said, pigs, at least to the best of my knowledge, represent those who hold the most power in society. So all of these different animals represent different clusters of society. So we have like the pigs, which are like the ones who are in charge, and then we have like the sheep, like the people who are like following the ones that are in charge, and then we have the dogs, like the businessmen, which is really, really interesting. So it says it goes a bit deeper than politicians, though they're certainly part of it too in Roger Waters' world. The pigs are the ones that are at the top who make all the decisions that ultimately control people's lives and dictate society. Their only objectives are keeping themselves in power and continuing to keep themselves nice and rich. They will stop at nothing and will go to extreme lengths to ensure their power doesn't cease to exist. Think the top 1%, the elite, the ones who do nothing but continue to drill society and lower classes deeper and deeper into an inescapable hole. They also seem to have pretty cold or calloused personality, as expressed in the lyrics. You'll like the feel of steel, good fun with a handgun, and you radiate the cold shafts of broken glass. Gluttonous, greedy, self-obsessed, power-hungry, never satisfied, sociopathic megalomaniacs with only 2 things that occupy their minds, wealth and power. The pigs are the ones who are master manipulators, highly intelligent and resourceful, and who ultimately control society. They are the ones who have the most power. They control the media, own all the important land, have all of the politicians and the government branches in their pockets, etc., etc. This is at least what I've gathered about the song. Apparently, Animals was highly influenced by Orwell's Animal Farm, and yes, Thatcher and Mary Whitehouse are also targets of Rogers in this song. They're 2 of the 3 pigs. So yes, very interesting. Next we have Sheep. Sheep meaning, Pink Floyd. So the song targets the passive religious majority who are meek and obedient, who follow the leader and are content with the will of the pigs. So, yes. Where does it say? Sheep represents society's lowest class, who are largely oblivious to their status and are exploited. In the first verse, they are described to be grazing peacefully, unaware that they're soon going to be brought to a slaughterhouse. They're warned about their masters, the dogs, even though the album as a whole identifies the pigs as the real enemy. The first few lines make reference to the spiritual swing low, sweet chariot, making use of its vision of one's own death, and to the book of Exodus, in which the Israelites must cross the river of Jordan to get to the promised land after their escape from Egyptian slavery. And then it talks all about all the different verses. So if you want to read that, that's on pinkfloydfandom.com. I'm not going to read all of it. But yeah, it's just about people being sheep and just following those who are in power and not questioning whether what they're doing is right or not. So that is Animals by Pink Floyd. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. I hope you liked it that I didn't pause it in the middle of it and annoyed you. And yes, I find it better with Pink Floyd. With other artists, I pause it in the middle, but with Pink Floyd, I think it's best to listen to all of it without pausing and then discuss everything at the end, because we've just got 10 minutes of me talking at the end. And then if people just want to hear what I think about the album, they can just skip to the end and just enjoy that. So yes, that's all I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed my reaction, and I'll see you all soon in the next one. The next one will be The Wall, and I'm going to be reacting to it in like 5 different parts. It's going to be a lot, but it's going to be really, really fun. So if you're excited for that, please leave a like. Please let me know in the comments if you think that's the next best album to react to. I did chat with my brother before filming this, and he was like, you should do The Wall next, and I was like, no, people said do Animals, so I did Animals. He also said I should do The Division Bell, and I'm like, I can't do The Division Bell yet. I need to do all of the different ones, because The Division Bell is like way later. So yes, that's everything for today, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.